As President Trump announces an airspace closure over Venezuela, congressional officials debate a Washington Post allegation of war crimes supposedly ordered by the War Department. Meanwhile, new revelations in the investigation into the Afghan migrant that shot 2 National Guardsmen in Washington, D.C. I'm Tony Kinnett, host of the Daily Signal's Tony Kinnett Cast, syndicated nationally at 7 p.m. Eastern. It is Monday, December 1st, 2025. This is the Daily Signal's top news in 10. On Saturday morning, the 29th of November, President Trump posted, "To all airlines, pilots, drug dealers, and human traffickers, please consider the airspace above and surrounding Venezuela to be closed in its entirety. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump." This follows escalating tensions in the Southern Caribbean amid a string of kinetic strikes by the United States Navy and Air Force against narco-terrorists operating in the Eastern Pacific and off the coast of Venezuela. Right before the weekend, the Washington Post published an unnamed source suggesting that the War Department under Secretary of War Hegseth had committed war crimes by authorizing secondary and tertiary strikes that were supposedly killing innocent survivors. The Secretary of War responded saying, quote, "As usual, the fake news is delivering more fabricated, inflammatory, and derogatory reporting to discredit our incredible warriors fighting to protect the homeland. As we've said from the beginning and in every statement, these highly effective strikes are specifically intended to be, quote, lethal kinetic strikes," end quote. The declared intent is to stop lethal drugs, destroy narco boats, and kill the narco-terrorists who are poisoning the American people. Every trafficker we kill is affiliated with a designated terrorist organization. Congressional officials took to the Sunday shows to argue their points on this particular matter. Senator Tim Kaine of Virginia suggested that if the Washington Report article was true, then it was certainly a level of a war crime. Check it out.
You're referring to this new Washington Post report that says that Secretary Hegseth called for everyone aboard the first suspected drug boat that was targeted to be killed. When 2 people survived, the military went back in, reportedly, with a follow-on strike. What questions do you have for the Pentagon about that situation?
Well, first, if that reporting is true, it's a clear violation of the DOD's own laws of war, as well as international laws about the way you treat people who are in that circumstance. And so this...
On CBS Face the Nation, Representative Mike Turner of Ohio said Congress did not have any information that suggested Pete Hegseth had committed some kind of war crime. Check it out.
The Washington Post is reporting that before the strike on the very first suspected drug boat in September, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth ordered that everyone on board be killed. And then when 2 of the 11 people on board survived, a follow-on strike was ordered to finish them off in the water. Now, some law of war experts are saying that that was illegal, that killing people who are no longer able to fight is a war crime. What is your view, and what questions do you have for the Pentagon?
Congress does not have information that had occurred. Both the chairman of the Senate Armed Services Committee, chairman of the House Armed Services Committee, and ranking members have opened investigations. Obviously, if that occurred, that would be very serious, and I agree that would be an illegal act. That is not the legal opinion or the information or the legal justification, the acts that have been described to Congress that are being undertaken.
Meanwhile, Democrat Senator Mark Kelly of Arizona, the one in the midst of the sedition accusations and now investigation from the Department of War, said that this would have constituted an illegal order that he, as a naval captain, would not have followed.
Based on what CNN is reporting, what the Washington Post is reporting, do you believe if there was a second strike to eliminate any survivors, that constitutes a war crime?
It seems to. If that is true, if what has been reported is accurate, I've got serious concerns about anybody in that chain of command stepping over a line that they should never step over. We are not Russia. We're not Iraq. We hold ourselves to a very high standard. But if I was ever given an order for a second, I've had questions about the operation in general, and I've been saying this for weeks, putting service members kind of like, are you stepping over a line here? Is this legal? They have tied themselves in knots trying to explain to us on the Armed Service Committee how this is legal. Not sharing all of the information either, which is really troubling. But going after survivors in the water, that is clearly not lawful.
Meanwhile, new revelations on the horrible shooting of two National Guardsmen, 20-year-old Sarah Beckstrom, who has now passed away, and 24-year-old Andrew Wolf on Wednesday afternoon. He is still in critical condition. They are members of the West Virginia National Guard and were shot by 29-year-old Rahmanullah Lakanwal, an Afghani national who worked with the CIA during the U.S. war in Afghanistan, whom the Biden administration gave asylum to in the middle of the withdrawal from Afghanistan operations. Here's Department of Homeland Security Director Kristi Noem giving some of the outline of the Biden administration's lack of vetting. On Friday, November 28th, the President of the United States posted that he would be putting an immediate pause on all migration from third world countries to allow the United States system to fully recover. Now, this caused a lot of dyspepsia over on legacy media. Senator Mark Kelly made the considerably insane statement to suggest that this meant Trump didn't want brown people in the country, whatever that meant.
Well, I think this is consistent with what we've seen from this president to date, rounding up people in their community. He said he was going to go after drug dealers, gang members, criminals. What we've seen so far is a little bit of that and a lot of just breaking up communities, going after people like Kelly Yu, who is in an ICE detention center in Phoenix, who I visited, who is a business owner. She's got 70 employees. She fled China 20 years ago, fleeing communist China, came to this country. She is undocumented. Her mom's a U.S. citizen, her kid's a U.S. citizen, sister's a U.S. citizen. She has a deportation order. She is no threat to anybody. There are hundreds, if not thousands or tens of thousands of these people.
But these are legal immigrants that he's talking about. And
he's kicked out legal immigrants already. This is kind of more of the same from this president. When he says things like third world countries, what is he really saying? I think what he's saying is he doesn't want brown people in our country. And that is disturbing, and it's un-American.
Representative Robert Garcia also suggested that this needed a moment of clarity and carefulness in how we talk about the Afghani communities in the United States.
Not understanding what had happened to them. And so this is, again, part of Donald Trump's broader policy. He views immigration in such a negative light that is, quite frankly, anti-American. Americans and this country know and understand that immigration has been a net positive and continues to be. These recent actions by the president and the comments then over the last couple of days have been quite shocking and embarrassing. To comment about other people across this country, when you think about, for example, the folks that helped our own military save American lives and save civilians, not just in Afghanistan, but around the world, these are people that gave their lives and oftentimes put their own family at risk to support and save American troops. So we've got to be very, very cautious and thoughtful about what we say and how we lead in this moment. And certainly, we all agree, and I have said this to my Republican colleagues, nobody, including Democrats, wants anyone in this country that is committing crimes or causing harm. Those folks shouldn't be here and absolutely should be deported. But hardworking, good people that either helped us in our military, through our asylum process, or that are working and powering our small businesses and restaurants, there has to be a better way than what Donald Trump is doing right now.
On Fox News Sunday, however, border czar Tom Homan made it clear that it would be likely most of the third world migrants let in will be deported because it's nigh impossible to vet all of them.
Understand, in these third world nations, they don't have systems like we do. So a lot of these Afghanistans, when they did get here and get vetted, they had no identification at all. Not a single travel document, not one piece of identification. And we're going to count on the people that run Afghanistan, the Taliban, to provide us any information who the bad guys were or who the good guys are? Certainly not. And many people need to understand that most terrorists in this world, most of them, aren't in any database, because unless they were found on a battlefield by the DOD when in the retina scan and did into biometrics there, unless they're part of a T3 undercover investigation, we don't know who they are. So, and the same thing with illegal aliens, that over 10 million that came across the border in Joe Biden. There's no way to vet these people. You think El Salvador or Turkey or Sudan or any of these countries have the databases or system checks that we have? Do you think the government of China, Russia, Turkey, you think they're going to share that data with us even if they did have it? There's no way to clearly vet these people, 100% that they're safe to come in this country from these third world nations. President Trump's doing the right thing, reviewing every one of these people that came under the Biden administration and drilling down on them. I really, truly think that most of them are going to end up being deported because we're not going to be able to properly vet them.
Before you go, head down to the description and make sure you're subscribed to the Tony Kinnett Cast. And join us tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern for a roundup of the day's news and nonsense. I'm Tony Kinnett, and this has been the Daily Signal's top news in 10. Take care.